Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got another pretty interesting show for you guys here that we definitely want to get into. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, the talk of the town for the next few days is going to be this argument that Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe had on Undisputed yesterday. Obviously, this depends on when you're seeing the show. The quick backstory, they were there talking about Tom Brady and him not playing well. And Shannon Sharpe is a longtime critic of Tom Brady, and Skip Bayless is a longtime supporter of Tom Brady. Good. So they were talking about it. Things started to get heated, like the way it's happened in the past. But yesterday, Skip decided to take it a little, cross the line and take it a little too far, by basically saying that Shannon Sharpe is jealous of Tom Brady because he had to stop playing football, I think, around the age of 35, and Tom Brady's still playing in his 40s. He also said that Tom Brady was a way better football player than he was. And then finally, he closed with Shannon Sharpe. This is Shannon Sharpe now saying, he said, Skip, he took off his glasses in total amazement. He seemed stupefied by what Skip said to him on TV. He said, Skip, you're going to take a personal shot at me because of your love for Tom Brady? And Skip first said no. He's like, Skip, you're going to take a personal shot at your co-host because you love Tom Brady so much. And Skip Bayless said, I'm going to defend him because he is the greatest player of all time. And that's the way it ended. Subsequently, various news outlets online were picking it up, and a lot of people are talking about it. Now, we produced another show. Obviously, it's going to be dependent upon when you see this show, where we talked about a possibility of Skip and Shannon ending up like Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. At one point, people thought it was jokes. We didn't. Over a year ago, we were producing shows about it where I said, Stephen A. Smith is a little bit too disrespectful to Max Kellerman. Some people said, oh, no, you're just television. They're acting. These are acting. I said, okay, this is acting. I said, okay, if these are actors, these guys need to be on a Hollywood set. I don't know why they're wasting their time on TV, waking up in the morning talking about sports. And ultimately, we found out after Max ended up being forcibly removed from ESPN First Take, we found out that, in fact, him and Stephen A. Smith's relationship was strained, and Stephen A. Smith did not want him on the show and was trying to get him off the show, or expressed that he would like to have a different format with, of the show years prior. So it wasn't acting after all. Now, in one of our shows, we also talked about a possibility of Skip and Stephen A. Smith having a reunion. And some people, I'm sure, seeing this are like, how is that even possible? That's impossible. You're just over here capping, making it up. So we have the proof for you guys. About a year and a half ago, Skip Bayless went on a show to talk about his career. And one of the questions was, would he be open to working with Stephen A. Smith again if the opportunity presented itself in the future? So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what Skip Bayless had to say to that question in terms of his response. And then we're going to come back and react to it. Take a listen to what Skip Bayless had to say there.
Tie. He got a tie. Skip, one last one for you.
Sure.
You've been dominating this sports debate for years. Recently, you just came out of negotiation, which kind of reaffirmed your value,
Thank you.
What would you say has been your biggest disappointment or setback in your career?
That's a good question.
Because you've been the man flying high. We hear about your work ethic and your discipline, and that's contributed to the success you've had. You undefeated in debate. But when you do this long enough, journalism, television, there's going to be some roadblocks, some up and downs.
Yeah, honestly, you're going to think this is a cliche answer, but it's the God's truth. I don't have any regrets. Mm-hmm. I have had a bunch of ups and downs.
Yes, sir.
I am a spiritual man, and I do believe in God, and I do believe in the power of prayer, and I believe in listening to what I call your God voice, which is your intuition in the back of your head that tells you to do that or that. And sometimes I look back on a choice that I made career-wise, like leaving Stephen A.,
mm-hmm.
and I say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then a month later, I wake up and say, no, it's okay. It's going to work. And I do not rule out one day reuniting with Stephen A., because in my last, what you're talking about, my new deal, it was close that I almost reunited with him then. Yep. It was very close. And I would love to work with him again, but it's like that's in God's hands. And I'm not trying to shrug off your question or duck or dodge your question. I don't look back and have some powerful regret that I didn't try this or that.
So you heard what Skip had to say there. He said he would absolutely be open to the idea. That's number one. Number two, he said, in fact, they tried to have a reunion when you talked about what he alluded to. But some people say, but what is he talking about specifically? If you guys remember carefully, a number of years ago, Skip Bayless was in talks to renegotiate his contract with Fox Sports. We also heard murmurs of a possibility of Skip and Stephen A. Smith reuniting and doing a new show that would be exclusive to the ESPN Plus app. It would be a show of Skip and Stephen A. Smith coming together, and you would only be able to get access to it if you signed up to ESPN Plus. These were talks that were legitimate, and they were really trying to pull it off, but ultimately it ended up not working out. So they actually tried to reunite together in some type of capacity. So it's not like as if we just up here making this up and pulling this out of the thin sky. Oh no, you just up here, blah, blah. No. They actually tried to do it. Now, why am I bringing this up? Number one, because Skip said he's still open to the possibility. Number two, because there is no real staple on ESPN First Take in terms of a constant debate partner that Stephen A. Smith has. He has a rotating cast. One day you may have JJ Redick, you may have Mad Dog Russo, you may have Kendrick Perkins, you may have Michael Irvin, you may have Jay Williams, you may have this person, you may have that person, you may have a special guest, all of these different people, right? So there isn't a constant there. With Skip and Stephen A. Smith, there was. That's number one. Number two, it is clear that Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith had great chemistry. And as a matter of fact, the reason that the relationship ended had nothing to do with it being personal. It was over contract negotiations or contract issues. It was never anything personal. In the case of Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith simply did not want to work with Max Kellerman any longer. So one could say that was a personal relationship that bled into the work, into the work that they were doing. He didn't like working with Max, and you could see that on many different occasions. In the case of Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, that was never the case. Now, the question is, could this still happen? Well, based on some of the things that Skip said in that audio, I wouldn't rule it out. Number one. Number two, Skip Bayless doesn't strike me as a person that's planning to retire anytime soon. He seems to be in this thing for the long haul, so I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be. Things we thought were impossible could be possible all of a sudden, and if it happened, I wouldn't be one of the people up here saying, oh my God, I never saw it coming. No, I did. Based on some of the things, some of the spats that Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe have been having on television, and some of the things that Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless have said about each other in terms of their relationship and them possibly working together. So these are my thoughts and opinions, and the question is simply this: do you think that these guys could possibly reunite in the future? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show.